Hi, good morning, everybody. It is 8 o'clock on the start of your Wednesday. Thanks for joining us for Second Cup. Hey, thanks for joining us for Second Cup.
Took me a while to wade through all the heat and humidity in the studio.
You barely
It is
made
a
it.
sauna in here.
Oh my God, it's not that cold. Literally, I walked in 2 minutes ago. I turned the air conditioner off for a second because look, I got goosebumps. It's blowing.
Well,
I mean, I
okay.
literally have goosebumps.
I do not have goosebumps. If I look very shiny this morning, you know why.
All right, John, you have permission to hit it in 5 minutes.
If you okay.
5 minutes. We're going to let it warm up and then punch it in 5 minutes. In. And then you get it for the whole rest of the time.
Oh, lucky us.
John was complaining too.
Yeah.
See, I'm a compromiser.
You're so nice.
I'll tell you guys what you can do. Oh, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's a fun time on Second Cup. A lot of stuff to talk about today. How about that big fire last night in the Cobblestone District?
Crazy. You wake up and come into work, and we're talking about another fire.
I know. Those guys
kind of close to the other fire, and there was the same firefighters working on both of them. So yeah,
those guys have got to be white. Take your jacket off, Aaron. Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea. That would probably be a little cooler.
That's what we always say to Ed. We're like, take your jacket off. And he's like, oh, okay. Don't mind if I do. Edward.
He's like, I don't know if you guys noticed. I went to the gym.
Yeah, take my jacket off and show off my T-shirt and my arms. Yeah, fine.
That's my invitation to Ed. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, anyways, we're glad to have you guys with us. Yeah, that fire was crazy. John, do we have some video of that in there? We do, don't we? So this is this big, huge building that's actually the center of this eminent domain
it's a crazy story.
argument right now. Yeah. So, I mean, this is a massive fire. So Jeff Russo, I asked, how did Jeff Russo get down there so fast? And frankly, what was he doing there? Because I saw him in video that was from like 8:30. And I'm like, this guy should have been home. So apparently he was down there for an event and happens to see this.
Now, this building's been
I wish Paul was here because he could talk about the different kinds of smoke and what that means. He would never do it officially, you know what I mean? But he would tell me what it means. You know, maybe it's like when they put water. I can't remember. Maybe somebody here is a firefighter, a volunteer firefighter, and can tell us. But you know how it's like darker smoke and the lighter smoke? I know it means something. But anyhow, look at these guys go. And then you can imagine that this then became something everybody's like, what is going on over there?
You could smell the smoke even this morning when I came into work.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, the smoke just kind of all over downtown Buffalo.
Look at how
that is crazy.
Big that building is.
Well, it takes up like a whole block, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyways, this whole building was the site of like this eminent domain back and forth thing, okay? So this is at the corner of South Park and Illinois. It's right in the historic Cobblestone area. And there's been this back and forth because the Common Council approved these like findings of a whole eminent domain battle thing. And they were trying to get these properties. It's actually from 110 to 118 South Park. So that's how big, you know, multiple addresses there. And so previously, the councilman for this area is Mitch Nowakowski, and he has said, listen, these structures at South Park, they're a blight on the Cobblestone Historic District, impairing the area's potential for economic growth. And he said acquiring the properties, he said, was the right thing to do because, you know, they needed to preserve it and you know, there was substantial public benefit. Then he says, this has been in and out of the housing court for 15 years.
15 years. I was going to say, I feel like it's been empty/abandoned for a long time, 15 years.
Right. And so he's saying it's a shame that this kind of stuff happens in the city of Buffalo. And, you know, so then this was back and forth in the courts. So now, I mean, it's more than $1 million in damage here.
And I would assume it's probably coming down now, right?
You know, it probably will. You know, I mean, that was a massive, massive fire. So that's pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, that's been going on. Yeah. Kim is saying too, it's 2 days of fires because we had the one at the old pig too.
Yeah. 2 fires, 2 days. It is awful, Kim. And that one though, but in the housing courts for 15 years. Oh yeah, so not the only one.
Yeah, then Mark was mentioning that 55-story building. Like there was on another building, we saw like the poster of what the owner had planned to do there. So I don't know. Yeah, Shirley says pretty crazy is right. Oh, okay. And then Robin's bringing up another story that we wanted to talk about. So we've got a couple things they're chatting about today. That Save-A-Lot that's actually inside the Broadway market.
Okay.
Is set to close right now. The owner says he's 6 months behind in rent, and he says it is loss prevention that's causing this issue. It's people shoplifting, and he hasn't been able to keep the store open and be making enough money. And so it was someone that we talked to who worked there, okay, one of the employees of the store who said people would run in with garbage bags and fill them up and then run out. And I mean, what do you do? Like it's not in this day and age, is it worth it to try to stop somebody? You know what I mean? It's like safety first, but then this guy's business is crumbling here. And so he says now he's got to close.
Yeah. Well, you can't you're in business to make money, and
Right.
if you can't make it if your product's being stolen,
Right.
so what else is he going to do?
So they're going to talk about this today with the Broadway. I guess he's meeting with the Broadway market. But Robin, I wanted to bring up your comment because she says we lost a Save-A-Lot in Riverside and we never recovered. So that's really interesting because already in this area, we talk about how there's so few options. There's the Tops, we know. There's an Aldi across the street from here, but then Save-A-Lot. I mean, but we're talking about an area too where a lot of people walk to the store. So even if the Tops is only a mile away from you or half a mile away,
Yeah.
it can still be a long walk for a lot of people.
Especially when it's 90 degrees outside and it feels like it's 100.
No kidding. Yeah. And Jason says, listen, that's a terrible thing that Eastside needs more food options. Peter says it's sad that Save-A-Lot is closing. People in the community need a grocery store, but I understand why. Yes, there is an Aldi right across the street there. Shirley again saying this is something to think about too. Kim says you can't complain you have nothing when people are stealing. I don't know. It's really difficult. Julie says she believes the owner. It's a rough part of town. So we're going to, that's an area that we've been talking about developing for a long time. We've been talking about bringing more things there for a long time. But now we see this store is closing and we hear the reasoning why. So I'll be interested to see what comes with this meeting with the Broadway market.
It'll be interesting to hear. But I think too with, he's in a tough spot. You can't really do much about the loss prevention. You see a lot of that like kind of on the news.
Yeah.
You're just kind of can't do anything. So what is he supposed to do?
Right.
You can't open a business and not make money.
Yeah.
You're just giving your product away. That's just the reality of life.
Look,
so it's unfortunate.
And Mary says, listen to this. She worked in a grocery store years ago in the suburbs and shoplifting was bad even then. I have to say, like, I've seen stuff happen. I was at a store one time in line. I won't even say what store. It was a retail store. And I'm sitting there in line waiting to pay. And all of a sudden, somebody just ran out the door with arms full of things, clothing. It was a retail clothing store. And everybody was kind of just like.
Did that just happen?
Right, exactly. And the cashier, I'm going to say she was 19.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she's like, I don't know if I should go. We're not really supposed to go after. I'm like, no. Because like something so much worse could happen, right? It's like safety first. And if you're not supposed to do it, don't do it.
With all the cameras and stuff that, you hopefully catch them on camera, and you see a lot of the police blotters on like Facebook and Instagram say, hey, if you know this person, let us know because we want to talk to them about
right. Well,
stuff.
And here's Lori saying this has obviously been an issue for years. She worked at a grocery store for years. Shoplifting was bad in the 80s. And then Kelly's just saying, what is wrong with people? Deborah says, people ruin it for everyone no matter what you do. I know, isn't that terrible? So anyways, Lori here says, shoplifting cigarettes was the worst. And my mom says she thinks that's why Wegmans stopped the thing where you scanned and bagged your own groceries as you shopped. That was convenient. I don't know if you remember that. You could put your like bags in the cart and you could just like pick up this, scan it and put it in.
No, I don't remember that.
And then at the end, you just held up your phone because you did it with your phone and it scanned in whatever.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, I would think too, I mean, now we all have to scan our own and bag our own groceries at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes if you have stuff on the bottom, you forget.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's inadvertent shoplifting as well. But like, running into a store with a bag, running out with items. And if it continues, like he said, like he has to close. I'd be very fascinated to hear what sort of solution they might be able to come up with.
Yeah. I
Unless
know.
they hire like guards that say, okay, if someone takes something, you are allowed to do something about it.
Oh, here, Karen, she works at a store. She says, I see it day to day at the store I work for. It's horrible. And it's not just one or two things. Shopping carts full. Shirley says she really liked that scam feature. It was a cool feature. Corinne says, I've been in retail for a long time. Shoplifting is so old because people get away with it. Carlos says security at retail stores aren't allowed to stop shoplifters, so people feel they can walk out with cartloads of stuff. And Jeff says the same as Sam's Club. You can scan and avoid the lines. Peter says it's not shoplifting for need, it's greed and stupidity. And my mom says her first job in a grocery store was the 70s and there was shoplifting then too.
Oh yeah, there's always
she was telling me about when she used to work at the store and like there was a quick cash scheme. This was like, I mean, we're talking probably the 70s is when, I mean, she was telling me this when I was a kid, and somebody would come in and, do you have change for this? Wait, you give me back this. I'll take this. You give this, this, and this. And she said, like, it happened to her one time. She's like, I was fully prepared for it. Like, I nailed it. And then at the end, her drawer was like $10 short or something. And she was like, no.
All that practice.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy? Like, people think of anything. It's just wild. We also want to talk about the heat, too, because we've got Aaron here. How did you guys get by yesterday? Towards the evening, we walked outside. Now, listen, It's thick, okay?
Yeah,
You walk outside.
it was
and you're
still
like,
hot.
"Ugh."
Yeah.
But it wasn't horrible. I felt like once it hit maybe like 6 or 7.
Okay. Yeah, we went out at 7
Mhm.
with take my son to his music lesson, and my car thermometer still said 91. I mean, it
Hmm.
was hot.
Mm-hmm.
And we hit 93 for a high yesterday. The heat index yesterday was 101 degrees. That was the max I saw at the airport. Take a look at temperatures right now. We're in the 80s, 81 degrees. It's 8 in the morning, and we are already at 81 degrees. Temperatures in the 70s and 80s across the area, with 81 in Buffalo, 80 in Niagara Falls, 73 in Jamestown. Lake Erie, 68 degrees. So if you want some relief from the heat, there's a nice spot to go to. It feels like it's 84 in Buffalo, 86 in Dunkirk, 83 in the Falls. Your feels like temperature for today will be in the mid to upper 90s, close to 100 degrees once again today and once again tomorrow. We do have the heat advisories in effect for all of Western New York right now through 8 p.m. on Thursday.
Okay, so Tim says, I love the heat. Keep it coming.
You know what? I'm a Heat fan too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people aren't, but Tim and I are in the same boat there.
Joyce stayed in front of the AC. Kelly mowed her lawn at 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah, there you
Marlene says central air is a beautiful
Uh-huh.
thing. Here's our Adam. I slept all day yesterday, so I didn't even try to deal with it. Kim says I was in the house all day and went out early to water my plants.
I let nature water the plants yesterday.
Okay, that's what I said too, because I went over to my mom's yesterday and she was going to water when I left. And I was like, you know what, Mom, I think they got a nice hit today.
They did. Yesterday was a very, very well one. Now on the radar today, it's pretty quiet. As we zoom out with the radar and satellite, more clouds today. So we had a good deal of sunshine yesterday after that morning rain, and then it warmed up into the low 90s. The clouds today will keep us a degree or two cooler. So highs today near 90 as opposed to low 90s like we saw yesterday. But it's still going to be a hot one, and it could be stormy. Some storms will develop, and we have the potential for a marginal risk for severe storms. Some could bring some locally heavy rains and also some damaging winds.
What do you think? Will we get a thunderstorm today, like in Buffalo?
Oh, yeah. Buffalo, better chance south and east.
Okay.
Yeah, Lake Erie kind of acts like a protector. You get this lake shadow northeast of the lake. And yeah, not in the wintertime, but in the summertime, it certainly does. So we don't see the big storms. They kind of fizzle out, especially when the lake is cool compared to the air, which is what we have right now.
Marguerite says, I feel bad for all the snowbirds who come to Buffalo for a little relief.
Yeah, they bring all the Florida heat with them. This is just like Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, Lori says the low 80s in Attica right now. Sarah said yesterday was fine, a little breeze in the shade. It was Monday that was a killer for my neighborhood. They didn't have power for 6 hours.
Ooh, that's tough. I saw a lot of people without power yesterday, like Kenmore and Tonawanda.
Yeah.
That's tough, when you have the heat like we had yesterday. So, we're going to see it again today and tomorrow. Heat advisory is still in effect.
I think there was like 12,000 people without power yesterday at one point, and I feel like at that time you're like just looking at the air conditioner, like willing it to turn on.
Yeah,
like turn on,
please.
come on, turn on.
Yeah, they're working hard, but they're working out in that heat as well.
Oh yeah, right, to try to even get it back on, Linda says they're going on a senior trip to PA. Howard says it was super muggy last evening because of the rain they got yesterday in Niagara. Jim says 77 in Kenmore. Jennifer just says it's gross out. Let's see here. Jason loves the heat. Andy loves the cold. Lori swam at the pool and the gym, or at the gym, excuse me. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, the
here.
outdoor pool at my gym's open, so that is great.
Peter says he just doesn't like the humidity. Bring on the snow.
Wow.
Cindy says she doesn't need an air conditioner. I'll tell you what, my neighbor across the street says the same thing. Doesn't turn it on, hates air conditioning. You know who also says this? Leah. Our anchor Leah says she's not an air conditioner person. You guys think it's hot in here?
Yes.
You should have been here when Leah was anchoring one night. She had no AC on for the whole 90. That's like the 5:30.
Where was Jeff next to her, or was she by herself?
No, there's no Jeff that night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're out here.
You know what? He was out on location.
Location?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she heated it up in here.
That's interesting because it's just gets so. You got all these lights in here, whether like 20 lights, and it gets so hot.
Mary says that rain yesterday, thunder, I thought it shattered the window behind me. Kelly says, I love the heat, but not working in it. Be careful watering anything in this heat. She wouldn't even cut the grass this week. You would? Kelly, I'm guessing you think you wouldn't even cut the grass this week.
I'm thinking too.
Yeah. I did water, what night? Monday night. Mm-hmm. But I waited till it was late, like we were talking about.
Yeah, I did late in the day on Monday, and I had some new plants I wanted to put in. And I'm like, it's time for you guys to get into the ground before it gets too hard. And then we had all that rain yesterday.
So yesterday, someone's asking what I did. I went over to my mom's house. We air conditioning, no problem. But Bandit, I didn't want to take him out for a long walk, but like he does have to go like outside. You know what I'm saying? And he does need a little walk.
Yes, he needs to get some energy out.
He needs a little bit of a walk. So
don't your parents have a fence?
They do, but he just loves a walk. He likes to sniff stuff. Like fine. Whatever, small joys, right? So we took him to Billy Wilson Park, which is the old Margaret Louise Park. It's in Amherst on Hopkins. And we took him there because it's almost all shaded on that boardwalk. And you're kind of like in that little, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I run that hill. So if you see somebody, go up the hill, then I go down the other side, then around the path.
The back path, the loop.
Up and down. So,
So we went to the boardwalk because it's all shaded. And I'm like, listen, it's going to be a 20-minute walk. I brought him water, he's got to get out a little bit so he can do what he's got to do. So we did that, and we saw some turtles. We saw a snake.
I saw that snake.
I put a picture of it up on my Facebook page. But it wasn't bad. We were probably out for like 25 minutes total.
How many turtles did you see?
2.
You sure?
Sure, there are a lot more. But there was one little teeny one, and then another one that we saw. Also, though, I'm not going to lie. Usually I'd stand there and look at the water a lot longer. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Felt like 101 degrees yesterday afternoon. So you and Bandit went.
Yeah. And so I didn't want to keep him out for too long. Yeah, Kelly says no grass cutting, by the way. So yeah, that's what we did. Oh, Lauren said she follows me on Instagram that she saw Bandit's face in the car yesterday. I said to him, we're going to go to my mom's house. And he goes, I swear to God, the dog smiled. He knows. It's like I told you, if I told you, you want to go to my mom's house?
I would also smile.
She's going to feed you too.
Yeah.
By the way, Mom, Aaron brought in scapes to the newsroom today.
And kale. We talked about it yesterday.
Scapes and kale.
Like you can have the kale.
I told everybody.
Maybe she'll chime in if she wants the kale. Take it home for her.
No, they think they get kale with theirs. I had kale in my salad last night at my parents' house, so I think they got some.
Was it kind of gritty?
Yeah, but you know what?
There you go.
It's good for you.
Actually, kale is like a superfood, but
it is a superfood.
I just don't like it.
Let's see here. Tiana said yesterday there was just enough thunder to upset her dogs.
Oh, I was wondering about that.
Peter laughing about the turtles. Let's see here. Deborah says she can't believe right now Buffalo's the same temperature as Sarasota.
Yeah. Oof. And Miami's high is 90, Tampa's high is 90, Buffalo high 90. In the humidity, same kind of thing. So it feels as if we were in Florida. It reminds me because a lot of times we go to Florida in July. We're not going this year, but you step out in the morning and it's that mugginess kind of hits you when you walk out. Which
taking a
I know. Oh, that's okay. I finished mine.
Sarah says, scapes. What is that? Sarah, scapes is the top of the garlic. And they come out like these little like green snake things.
Yeah, it's like it was hard to get into the bag. I'm like, come on. It feels like they want to jump
tall,
out.
They're skinny, they're these like green snake things. And my mom will make pesto with them.
Yep.
So she like chops them all up in the food processor and adds like Parmesan cheese, olive oil.
They smell really good.
They're a lot like garlic.
Yeah, they kind of have a strong scent. It's in the newsroom right now.
You can find them at Wegmans. And I want to say, so she gets them from her crop shop. You got them from your crop shop.
Yeah.
And I think that last time we like checked the price, they were like $10.99 a pound or something like that.
I know. They're super expensive.
Yeah.
You know what? At mine, we get a lot of peppers toward the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was you pick peppers, and I love peppers. And I went to the store one day. I'm like, wow, peppers are so expensive. I'm glad I picked like so many.
Yeah.
Because I'll fill them with like sausage.
Love.
And just throw on some sauce and just eat like 10 of them. It's great.
Yeah, so Elizabeth or Sarah was saying, oh my gosh, yeah, she learned something new today. And
cool.
Lori knew what they were, talking about how they grow above. They're really good. My mom makes that pesto and then she puts it, I was telling Aaron, on like a garlic bread and puts it in the oven. It's scape bread. It's really, really good.
Sounds like something I would love to try.
Melly says her mom's peppers are growing really, really well this year.
Oh, cool. You know, we had a tomato plant that started strong and then it just kind of fizzled. Like it got all yellowy.
It needs a lot of water.
I don't know how much more water I can give it. I was letting it kind of dry out. I think the soil was all wet. I thought I ruined the.
I don't know. Somebody help Aaron with his tomato problem.
Sometimes you just.
Somebody help Aaron with his issues. I know
you don't have a green thumb.
I know it's not easy. Okay, let's talk the last story we wanted to hit on. Boy, we got through a lot today.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! But I closed out the tab that I had it on. It's a
Who has
child.
issues? I was just
the child sleep study.
Yeah, I know it. You said I had issues. closing out tabs. So.
Okay, child sleep study. Who's keeping the show on track, Aaron?
Oh, you and I have had a lot of fun behind the scenes this week.
Oh yeah, so much fun. Okay, so we talked about this child sleep study and how 1 in every 4 parents says their kids have anxiety, and 1 when it comes to bedtime, and 1 in every 3 says their kids will get up in the middle of the night and come get them.
And these are 1 to 6-year-olds. They did the study.
Little kids.
Yeah, little kids. So they wake up and they come to your door, or they're crying, and about 1/3 of them, the study said, doing that.
Yellow for your tomato means too much water.
See, that's what. Thank you.
Lori says
that is what I said, and then you said you need to water it more. So thanks.
Well, I thought you said it was dry.
No, I said the soil's too wet. I'm letting it dry.
Oh, you're letting it dry.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big fail, Aaron.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens if it dries out.
Fingers crossed.
That's what I thought. When they're yellow like that.
Keep us updated.
The soil was too wet, so yeah.
My other plant turned yellow too, and then I had to research that, and it said Epsom salt, so I threw some of that on there. So I'm
Did it work?
The plant at the top looks great. The bottom is still yellow, but it's the part that's supposed to bloom looks amazing. So I'm like, whatever for now.
Yeah, I mean, the plants, they ebb and flow. Who knows? I don't know.
Whatever
I mean, it's been so warm. I thought the plant would be happy.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we're talking about this child sleep study. Lauren says it makes her sad that kids feel this anxiety. James said he couldn't sleep as a child. He was terrified of going to school, put his parents through a lot. Katie says they're overtired. That's why they don't sleep through the night. So, Katie, you might be onto something here, because what researchers were saying was that, okay, so this 1/3 of parents said their kids don't sleep through the night.
Yeah.
Also, when they were doing this research, they found 1/3 of parents don't have a steady routine. So they think that there's
a correlation, seems to me.
They to think there's a correlation there. So if you were a parent, how important is that go to bed routine? What did you guys do to get the kids in that routine?
100%. Every day after dinner, brush your teeth, get ready for bed around a set time. I mean, we call it lights out. I mean, that was around 8 o'clock. Kids need a lot of sleep, especially that age, especially your teens, which is tough because they don't think they do. Surely kids need a routine, 100%. Adults don't like to be boxed in with the routines, but kids crave structure. That's what we're supposed to be doing as parents.
Yeah.
They don't, as we would often tell them, you guys don't run the house. We do. So you're going to bed now. Mostly it was fine. You get your pushback. There's always 1 or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But they going to bed at that same time is super, super important. Oh, maybe on the weekend you stay up a little bit later. It's kind of a treat, but still they get up early.
Yeah.
Like high school kids, the bus comes before 7.
Yeah.
Middle school's a little later. Junior, like the younger ones, they get on that bus pretty early as well.
I know my girlfriends with little kids will say when they let them stay up early, stay up late, maybe they get an extra hour or something like that. They still get up at the same time, if not earlier.
Yes.
Like it throws them off.
Yes. So if you're going to bed at 10, sometimes they'll wake up at 7. You go to bed at 8, they're waking up at 7.
But they're missing 2 hours of sleep now.
Now they're and it's just sleep is such a vital part for their just for their growth and everything. And routine is key. I'm with you.
Yeah, Elizabeth says that. Katie says there's a golden window to get them to bed, 7 p.m. Kim says routine is important, 8 p.m. Lori said we had a bath and went to bed at the same time every night. Lauren says being overtired makes kids crazy. She's sleep trained starting at 4 months old, sticks to a schedule. It does mean you have to miss out on something. And that's so true. Like you do have to miss out on some stuff. I get it. But
what happens when you have a little human you got to take care of? We missed a ton of stuff.
Sarah says routine is a loose word for the chaos at bedtime in my house, but it's not for lack of trying.
And that is the case too, Sarah. I am with you on that. Like you can try, you can have the best intentions.
Best laid plans, yeah.
Absolutely. But you know what? Some things happen. You get a phone call, someone, a tooth comes out.
Right.
There's
No, I know.
There's so many things that can happen. So on a perfect day, they were going to bed at the correct time.
Oh,
zoom in.
Yeah, that's enough of you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Now we're on to Katie. It's
right.
The Katie Show.
I'm out.
We've had enough of you, Aaron Mankowski. Yeah.
We don't want your routine parenting.
Yeah. Routine what? Get you out of here.
I thought it was done. All right.
Well, anyways, yeah. So, and Katie also says, listen, you got to spend a little time with them. You got to read. Don't send them. We would always read before bed.
Oh, yeah. Reading's a huge.
That helps wind kids down.
It does. It's way better than the electronics, which brain's all wired.
Yeah.
So we always read before
That's
bed.
what the study said, too. Yeah. The study said the same thing about the electronics. Here's one thing, though, that I did find when I was a kid. And real quick.
We pay a lot for this study because I think we could have probably done this ourselves.
Reading the chapter books, though, I'd be like, one more chapter.
Especially the James Patterson books.
Because they get so good.
Because the chapters are like a page long. You're like, I got a couple more.
I know. All right, we got to run, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.